shine. People, you are with me now. I'm not here to play around. Let me show you what I am. This my time to shine. All together one more time. Ring my bell and let it chime. Everyone around the world, look at me. This is the way it's gonna be. Just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be back, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. May, na 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 na, whoa, 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 na 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 na. This my time to shine. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I am worth the wait. Be back, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. May. Na 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 na, whoa, 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 na 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 na. This my time to shine.
I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I am no regular citizen. Do you understand what you witnessing? You cannot tell what the difference is. I want it all and I'm winning it. I do not care about opinions. Time to make a few decisions so I can take a position. I'ma go get it, I'm punching and kicking. I keep on moving, they off of me. Just do it and stop what I'm talking to. I'm not expressing no modesty. I can't see nobody stopping me. If there's a problem, I gotta solve it. Straight to the top, I can't see myself falling. I gotta grab it, there's no time for stop.
It's my time to shine. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna
it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I am no regular citizen. Nope. Do you understand what you're witnessing? You cannot tell what the difference is. I want it all and I'm winning it. I do not care about opinions. Time to make a few decisions so I can take a position. I'ma go get it, I'm punching and kicking. I keep on moving, they off of me. Just do it and stop at our talking G. I'm not expressing no modesty. I can't see nobody stopping me. If there's a problem, I gotta solve it. Straight to the top, I can't see myself falling. I gotta grab it, there's no time for stalling. Number one son, don't have other options. Now I'm fired up. I'm sorry, brother, your time's up. I see the top and I climb up. I came from the ashes, I rise up. Rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I want it now, and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gon' back down. I gotta go for the gold. I need to switch up the mode. I'm gonna win on my own. I'm in a whole nother zone. I reached the pinnacle. I don't have time, this is critical. It's time to finish you. I don't care who I just did it to. I gotta go for the gold. I need to switch up the mode. I'm gonna win on my own. I'm in a whole nother zone. I reached the pinnacle. I don't have time, this is critical. It's time to finish you. I don't care who I just did it to. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. I want it now and I ain't never gon' back down. Said I'm fired up. I'm sorry your time's up. I see the top and I climb up. Came from the ashes, I rise up. Rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up.
Na 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 na, whoa, whoa, whoa. Na 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 na, this my time to shine. Everybody gather round, I'm the new kid in this town. Let me lay it on the mic, this my time to shine. Na 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 na, whoa, whoa. Na 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 na, this my time to shine. Let's kick back, enjoy the ride. My advice is don't think twice. Everyone around the world, look at me, I'm fine. This is the way it's gonna be, just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be Bobby, lobby, you behold the one that you've been waiting for. May. Na 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 na, whoa, whoa. Na 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 na, this my time to shine. I'm shining. People, you are with me now. I'm not here to play around. Let me show you what I am. This my time to shine. All together one more time. Ring my bell and let it chime. Everyone around the world, look at me. This is the way it's gonna be, just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be Bobby, lobby, you behold the one that you've been waiting for. May. Na 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 na, whoa, whoa, whoa.
The CISM Military World Cup kicked off yesterday here in Spokane, Washington, and what an opening day it was. The United States scored 7 first-half goals and added 3 in the second half to defeat Belgium 10-0. And in our second match, it was a battle of 2 European nations as Germany defeated Ireland 3-0. So the United States and Germany lead Group A after the first day with 3 points each. Today, we start Group B action as South Korea takes on Canada in the first match coming up shortly, and another European battle here in the States as the Netherlands takes on France. We say hi, bonjour to those in Canada, and annyeonghaseyo to those in South Korea. I'm Alex Gould. Alongside me is U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Shelby Pruitt-Johnson, excited for Day 2. Ju Ne Chin, good morning. Kamsahamnida, merci. Thank you for joining us for what should be a great match. 16-hour time difference in South Korea, so it's 7:30 in the morning, breakfast time. If you are in Toronto or Montreal, it's 6:30 at night, so get some dinner, then join us for a great soccer match as we get ready for the national anthems coming up here. This is the CISM national anthem.
Now the national anthem of Canada. National anthem of South Korea.
Well, Shelby, we had two dominant performances yesterday for the United States and Germany in Group A. Today, both of these nations hoping for a similar performance to kick off Group B.
Alex, I am so excited to see today and what South Korea and Canada can bring to the table. Yesterday we had 2 shutouts, and you know what? South Korea, they play all year round, so I'm excited to see what kind of chemistry they have and see if they can make and take the win.
Speaking of South Korea, the Republic of Korea, let's take a look at how they're going to line up. They're starting 11. They're in a 4-3-3 formation. Will go from the back. You have Ji Hee Ha is the goalkeeper. The right back is Do Young Bang. Then the right center back, Min Jin Kim. The left center back is Da Hee Dong, and then the left back is Ah Room Han. The holding midfielder for South Korea today is Hee Yo Shong Shim, and then the right midfielder is Jin Ying No, and then the left midfielder and the captain of this South Korean military team is Hal Nul Kwan. The right wing is Yi Na Park, the center forward Chung Min Lee, and the left wing to round out the lineup for South Korea is Da Un Kwan. So now we'll take a look at Canada. This team was formed in April. They had training in Kingston, Ontario. You take a look here for Canada. The goalkeeper is Alex Haag. The right back is Claudia Rousseau. Then the right center back is Katie McCaskill. Left center back is Kate Costello. The left back is Kate Fung. Then the right midfielder is Michaela Talbot. The center mid is Emma Perry. The left midfielder is Kim O'Rourke. The right winger is Paige Campbell. Center forward Kaylee Carlisle. And one of the captains of this Canadian military team, the left wing, to round out the order, also in a 4-3-3, is Bailey Tupin. So again, we appreciate you joining us 7:30 in the morning. Grab some breakfast, grab some coffee before you head to work in South Korea. We hear you, we see you. And then in Canada, obviously 3 different time zones. If you're near the Spokane area, we're only about an hour and a half away from the Canadian border here. It's a 3:30 start time, local time, Pacific time. And then if you're in Toronto or Montreal, 6:30. So grab some dinner, take a seat on the sofa, take a seat on the couch, and we are ready and happy to have you for what should be a great soccer match.
What a great way to end the night, honestly, for the Canadians over there watching. You get to see their team play right there before they get to go to bed.
Then the referees today, the head referee. So we have 2 from Ireland and then 2 from the United States who will be officiating this match. Head referee from Ireland is Jonathan Hennessy. The AR1 also from Ireland is Paul Kavanagh. And then the AR2 from the United States is Megan Mullen. And the 4th official, also from the United States, is Laura Rodriguez. So South Korea is coached by Mi Yun Lee, also by Song Woo Cho, and then taking a look at Canada's head coach, we have James Lundy, as well as Kevin Gregg, 2 assistant coaches. And also a shout out to 3 of the managers for Team Canada who have helped get this going. Lauren Flaherty, Shannon Brown, as well as Melanie Arseno. Canada, they are in the white and black, with black shorts. And then South Korea is in kind of a maroonish, pinkish red. And we are underway here in Spokane. So in the first match yesterday between the United States and Belgium, we had a goal 2 minutes in, and then 6 more in the first half for the United States. In the second match yesterday, the nightcap between Ireland and Germany, we had a goal 9 minutes in. So we'll see, will that trend continue? Will we get goals right away? South Korea, very aggressive unit. And again, you mentioned it, Shelby. They play year-round. A lot of these women are very familiar with each other and the style of soccer or football that they know how to play.
Absolutely. I think that we're going to see that here on the pitch, them having that chemistry and that knowledge of what each player, how they work, how they operate, how they play, their skill levels. And I'm very excited to see how it plays out here today.
So it's 93 degrees here. It is very hot in Spokane. Normally around this time, we've been told it's about 85, 86. That's Fahrenheit. So to give you an idea, that's just under 34 degrees Celsius. And being on the turf, we talked about it yesterday here at Union Stadium. You'll hear us talk about it a lot. Obviously, it's an American football stadium, and so the turf makes it about 8 to 10 degrees hotter. So there will be a water break halfway through each half. So about the 20 to 50 mark of
I
each
definitely
half.
feel it, yep. Yesterday it was around 88, and that 93 is just feeling just that much hotter. And I bet these ladies out here are going to feel that today at the field.
Let's see if South Korea dispossession here. I wanted to see if they were going to switch sides of the pitch. But this is the keeper and Alex Hogg for Canada. Of course, on the other side, you have Ji Hee Ha. Both keepers hoping they're not tested too much today. Haven't had to do anything yet. About 2.5 minutes in here in the third minute of this match. That's Kate Fung throwing it in for Canada over on the far side. Canada switching sides of the pitch. That's Paige Campbell, the right wing, who gets it back to Kim O'Rourke. Out to the right center back and Kate Costello. For South Korea, this is Da Hee Thong. Gets it over to her teammate there, and Arum Han. But then past the touchline, so a Canadian throw in here on the near side. We saw Germany yesterday, Shelby. So comfortable working from front to back, back to front. It didn't matter. If they didn't have anything on their attacking third, they were okay getting it to their backs, playing it through their keeper and resetting their attack. And I think we're going to see a lot of that, especially from the South Korean team today.
I think so, too. I think we saw that here over on the right side of the field. Then passing it back and passing it to the defenders and then over to their goalie. Very calm and collected, just as Germany was yesterday.
Two defenders back for South Korea. But good pressure on the ball by Kaylee Carlisle. She has some wheels. She can fly in that center forward position. Not a good touch that time by Da Eun Kwan, the left wing for South Korea. Remember, the nightcap tonight is going to be another European battle here in the States. It'll be the Netherlands taking on France. That is a 7 p.m. local start time. I know there's a 9-hour difference between the Netherlands and France. 9-hour difference between those two nations and here in Washington. So it's going to be early in the morning, about 4 a.m. start time for those two in the nightcap. Shelby, how much do you think, first match of the tournament, how much do you think nerves play a factor?
You know what? I think not only is it just nerves, I think it's everything, right? These ladies are coming from across the world, from all different nations, all different teams, walks of life, all different militaries, and time zones to come here and play. And I think the nerves just add one cherry on top for these ladies here coming to play. You know, I think that they probably coming here a couple 48 hours beforehand helps them a little bit. They get comfortable, hopefully, in that time, and I think that they should be able to, once they keep playing a little bit, they'll be able to pick up the game, and those nerves will subdue.
Smart idea there on the header by Costello back to Hogg to make sure that her keeper could corral it and reset everything. But good pressure there from South Korea. But for Team Canada, a newer team, talking about how they were just told in March that they would be competing this year, which was great news. They were really excited about it. Of course, they competed in 2018 in El Paso, but were not in Wuhan, China. So they're glad to be back. It's been 4 years since Canada has been able to compete in CISM women's soccer. Playing it out right here on the near side. Daun Kwan dispossessed. It will be a throw-in for South Korea. A good pressure by the right back there for Canada. And Claudia Rousseau. So in case you're wondering where our crew is from, we have worked so hard to set up everything to make sure that you can watch in Canada or South Korea, all over the world, wherever you're tuning in. Hill Air Force Base in Salt Lake City, Utah, 2nd Audio-Visual Squadron, and then the Lackland Joint Base in San Antonio, Texas, of the 3rd Audio-Visual Squadron. It's amazing how hard these men and women have worked. That was just outside the box, so it wouldn't have been a penalty if it was called, but no foul called as a player for South Korea hit the deck there. That was Arum Han. Arum Han throwing it in here for South Korea, trying to set up the throw in here. Designed
nice
play.
Run.
Yeah, beautiful design on the throw in there. That's the practice. They're so used to playing with one another.
Nice breakaway there.
Canada trying to counter here. Good speed from Carlisle. And then Carlisle is going to get called for the foul.
Maybe it's too early to say this, but I think this is a pretty well-matched team. I'm seeing a lot of really good things from both teams, so I'm excited to see how this game plays out and how well they can stifle each other's chances to get it in the net.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, Kaylee Carlisle put some good pressure on the ball in her own attacking third when the backs for South Korea haven't. But if that throw-in for South Korea tells us anything about the camaraderie and how they're so used to playing with one another. Those are the designs that you're going to see. They're a very cheeky team, I think is a good way to describe it. They're very smart, very tactical. And clearly, Shelby, they'll switch sides of the pitch whenever they need to.
Absolutely. Their passes are really precise. So you can tell that they've been practicing all year long for a tournament just like this.
It seems like they kind of want to maybe expose the right defense for Team Canada. This could be a chance here. Han Nu Kwan into the box. Chance here for South Korea, stopping on the ball and slipping, but still keeping it is Chongmin Lee. Chongmin Lee, left foot, deflected by the keeper and Alex Hogg. And we're going to get our first corner kick of the afternoon. And I'll tell you what, Shelby, Chongmin Lee slipped on the ball there. Sometimes it's a little bit slippery, like that word right there on this turf. But it was a nice job by Chongmin Lee to stick with.
Oh, the attempt was great. She did not give up.
So Hee-Yo Shung Shim, corner kick specialist for South Korea. She has Arum Han short if she wants it instead. Into the box, backside, off the head, through the wrong uprights. And it's going to be a goal kick for Alex Hogg. So some good pressure there by South Korea, but that's the name of the game, surviving the pressure. That's what the back line does there on that corner for Canada.
Short pass to the outside right back.
Not a great decision there from the right center back. And Kate Costello. One doubt, too, we've seen in this tournament. You see it a lot in soccer and football. We talk about keepers being decisive on plays, when to go out and get the ball, when to stay back in their own 6. But a lot of times, too, with the back line, you have to be decisive right away because these forwards are going to be right on you in a hurry if you're just holding the ball on your back line. I actually like that decision there to kind of punch it into the corner for Canada. That was Paige Campbell, the right midfielder, to at least get it on South Korea's defensive third. Kind of push them back a little bit. Maybe put some pressure on the ball here.
It almost looked like zero pressure there.
Good touch on the ball there for South Korea. That was Da-Un Kwan. And that's what we're talking about being decisive. Getting it out of harm's way that time was the right center back in Kate Costello. Again, South Korea has mainly been on the near side of things. Maybe they think there's a little bit of a disadvantage. Good run there, but it's going to be corralled by Hogg. She came out of the 6, stayed inside the 18. But maybe they think there's something here on the near side of things rather than the far side of the far flank. See, maybe at some point, if they're trying to lure Team Canada thinking that they're going to strictly stay on the near side and then switch sides.
I think it's going to be those breakaways. Yep, right. Exactly what you're saying. South Korean throw in.
Do Young Ban throws it in for South Korea. And she'll get to throw it in again, just from about 10 feet further. Canada was the first ever host nation. Talking about their training in Kingston. Now stop that thought for a second. South Korea crossing one in the box. Could be the first opportunity, but again, the decisiveness by Hogg to go out and get it. After that cross from Yi Na Park. Could not find her teammate in Da-Un Kwan. What I was saying was, Canada was the first ever host nation back in 2002. Someone had to step up. It was Germany, Canada, the U.S., and the Netherlands. U.S. wound up winning the gold medal. But we were talking about the training in Kingston. That's where they held it in 2002, 20 years ago. Here's a chance for Da-Un Kwan. Da-Un Kwan, shot ricocheted off the foot of Claudia Rousseau. Korea mounting that pressure. That will be a throw-in on the far side. But Canada stepped up to host.
Right back to the throw-in. That was nice.
Korea has never won the gold medal. They got silver back in 2018 in El Paso. Lost to Brazil in that CISM Women's World Cup Championship gold medal match. Also got silver 3 other times back in 2008.
You know what, Alex? But this might be their year. This might be the year that they come out with the gold.
2008, 2009. As Hogg's well out, no keeper in the area. That was dangerous there by Hogg. That shot attempt missed wide right by Yina Park.
Hogg is a signals officer in the Canadian Army. She played for the Royal Military College from 2013 to 2016. And now she currently plays with Kingston Junior Gales in the Ottawa Charlton Soccer League. So she still plays here on her free time.
And looking at those breakdowns, for South Korea, every woman here on the pitch is in the Army. When you take a look at Team Canada, you got a lot in the Royal Canadian Navy, you got a lot in the Royal Canadian Air Force, and then plenty in the Canadian Army. So it's a good mixture, a healthy mixture for Team Canada as the flag went up offside on South Korea. But that's what's so unique and so special. And you're going to see some teams like South Korea. So I believe it was Ireland yesterday, I think, mainly in the Army. But you're going to see some other nations with a lot of mixtures. We saw that with Team USA. Saw that with Germany. And it's cool to see different branches come together.
Absolutely, and that's another thing that a lot of the teams kind of have to get through to become the team that they are playing here in this tournament, because they're from other branches, right? They can't relate in their branches in their type of the military, but the South Korean team, they're all from the Army, so they know how it works and how they operate as each other.
So 20th minute here, and that's going to be a foul that goes against Canada. So free kick here at around center circle near the middle of the pitch for South Korea. Still trying to exploit this near side here are the South Koreans. They put a lot of trust into Da Hee-thong as well as Min Jin Kim to kind of orchestrate it from the back line. I think those two are waiting for someone to make a run so they can boot the ball forward.
You know, I'm seeing a lot of give and goes too from Arumhan and Da Yin Kwan up here on the near side, just like this one right here.
Got to be careful of Da Kwan slipping past you. Right foot, just outside the 18. Again, a lot of slipping and sliding going on with Chung Min Lee. But Chung Min Lee finds the ball at her feet again. Back to Da Eun Kwan, left-footed cross and a good snag by Alex Hogg. More pressure there from South Korea, but the name of the game, as we said earlier, is making sure you can limit these attacks and limit these chances. Kaylee Carlisle, she's just dying to get the ball at her feet. Might have a chance here trying to slip through 2 defenders. So quick is the South Korean back line. Good run by Han-Nul Kwan, the captain for South Korea. Left-footed cross. Could this be the first? Good stop, but the ball trickles to the far side. Just outside the 18 is Ina Park.
What a great recovery attempt from her.
We have some limping going on here on the near side of things for South Korea. I believe that is Han-Nul Kwan, the captain for South Korea. A lot of nations, when they come in, I'd even say that the Team United States, maybe not used to playing on turf, used to playing on grass for the most part when they come in. So it's definitely a little bit different of a surface. That's another thing you have to get used to. We talked about the time zones and the time difference in 16 hours in South Korea. Hogg likely going to boot this one away and just get it out of there. Force a throw in. She does. But you also got to get used to the pitch.
Turf, for the most part, is harder on the body. So I think that when they were looking for different fields to host this CISM tournament, they were really not looking for turf fields. But because of the nature of this, had to pause there for a second. I thought that was going to be the first goal of the game.
No one was on the backside there of that cross by Arum Han. So another goal kick for Alex Hogg. Well, yeah, they tried to get some grass fields, and that's what Lieutenant Kirschman was talking to us about. Kirsch, as everyone calls him. Pretty high up at Fairchild Air Force Base. Fairchild Air Force Base, the ones that are hosting this CISM Women's Military World Cup. And boy, they have been gracious and kind, making sure that they get teams from point A to point B, whether it's to the practice fields or to Union Stadium here, or even to lunch and dinner. But none of this would be possible without, of course, the nations coming together saying, hey, we want this to happen in 2022. We know COVID's been tough for a lot of nations, a lot of people. It's affected everyone. But then also Fairchild Air Force Base and Lieutenant Kirschman, what they and he has done. Of course, I said lieutenant. I should say Lieutenant Colonel Kirschman. Right foot cross. Good opportunity here for South Korea. Good save by Hogg. Off that shot attempt by Han-Nul Kwan. Boy, Han-Nul Kwan stopped and on a dime right away turned around and fired, and Hogg was there at the far post.
And you can hear the fans here on the side for South Korea. They are getting wild. They really thought that was going to be the first goal of the match.
We've seen a couple of shot attempts, but mainly miss wide of the mark for the most part. Hogg maybe was credited with the save early on, but it was right near the near post. That was a legitimate save by Alex Hogg to keep it tied up 0-0. And we are also right around the hydration break. Should be getting that here soon. Maybe after this attempt here for South Korea. I would assume next stoppage when the ball trickles past the touchline. That's when we'll get the hydration break. So we're a little bit past that. Another opportunity, flag stays down. Da-Un Kwan, dispossessed. Good defense there from Claudia Rousseau. And there is the stoppage, and that takes us to a hydration break.
An
Much
absolutely
needed.
necessary hydration break. Absolutely.
34 degrees Celsius, and we talked about it's now 94 degrees. It's only getting hotter here in Spokane. I don't think we're going to see any 100-degree Fahrenheit days, and this week's going to be a lot warmer than next week. So you got 91 Fahrenheit, so it already starts to get down just a little bit tomorrow, which is good news for everyone, but it's going to stay around the 90-degree mark, about 33 degrees Celsius. But then next Monday gets down to 83, and it'll be hover around 83 to 87. So better weather next week. I'll tell you what, this beats the rain. I'd rather it be hot out than cold out. I'm that type of person. But all right, let's talk some thoughts here. 26th minute here while teams regroup. We'll start with Team Canada. What do you think the Canadians are talking about in their huddle during this water break?
You know, I think the Canadian team has done pretty well at stifling the shots that South Korea has on the goal. Their defense is working hard, and I know that they're tired back there. But you know what? But they haven't really tested the South Korean goalie. The offensive, that just hasn't had the chance to get it past their offensive half, really at all.
Is there anything you see that Canada needs to do differently to try and get it on their attacking third to set up that attack a little bit better?
It's hard to tell, Alex. I think that both teams are actually doing a very well job. I think they're well matched, like I said a little bit earlier. I think they just need to make those finishing passes. South Korea, you can tell that they have that preciseness and they know where to pass it into who. But I think the Canadian team has a hard time anticipating those passes, and I think that's what they need to do in order to get the ball changed and to bring it up the field.
For South Korea, I think it's pretty simple. Keep putting the pressure on the back line. One of these will go in eventually.
Absolutely. Those breakaways are key. The forward team is just phenomenal.
And I really think the storyline just watching this match here is that for Team Canada, maybe you need to have a little bit more help side from your right back and your right center back. It really seems like the left wing and Da-Un Kwan and playing through Han-Nul Kwan in the center attacking mid spot. I guess that left mid is what she's listed as, but they think they can exploit the right side of the defense for Canada. We really haven't seen too many attacks come from the other side, that far side of the pitch. Could be an opportunity. Da-Un Kwan, but the flag went up. Da-Un Kwan was a step ahead of that last defender for Canada, and Claudia Rousseau. So two terrific crowds yesterday here at Union Stadium. What was really fun to see, obviously we're here in the United States, so for the U.S. team, big-time crowd for their match and their 10-0 victory over Belgium. But a lot of those fans, there is good soccer fans here in Spokane. A lot of those fans stuck around for the nightcap between Ireland and Germany. Here's a chance, crossed in, right foot, but right to Hogg. That hit the right foot of Han-Nul Kwan, who tried to one-time it in to the back of the net, but perfectly positioned was Alex Hogg. Crowd today not as large here between South Korea and Canada.
But what a couple of the teams have talked to us about is even when they have those few times that they have off to kind of hang out in the Spokane area.
Flag stays down here. Kaylee Carlisle trying to break away. Could be an opportunity for Canada, but how about the defense there from Minji Kim? Boy, Carlisle was flying, but how about Minji Kim, the right center back for South Korea? It was a perfect ball. It looked like it came from Emma Perry, who orchestrates the attack for Canada. One of those where she stopped, turned, and Carlisle bolted towards the 18. This sport, so oftentimes, Shelby, you played it, you know it, can be pretty unfair. I mean, South Korea's dominated possession, we'll say about 75-25, maybe even 80-20. But Canada had one of the best looks there, but because of the lightning speed from Min Jin Kim, didn't allow Carlisle to have a one-on-one with the keeper, Ji Hee Ha.
I agree, and I think we're going to say it over and over. I think it's... And we have a breakaway by the
Hanul Kwan trying to cross it in, but Hogg is there again.
I think it's going to be that advantage of South Korean playing year-round with the same ladies, knowing each other. And you can just kind of tell the Canadian team doesn't have that same chemistry.
Good back heel there from Hanul Kwan. Some space potentially for Arum Han. Arum Han one-on-one. Off the chest. Left foot. Through the uprights. Field goal is good. We're looking at American football, but that's not what you're aiming for there. That's a goal kick for Alex Hogg. That back heel, though, was phenomenal from Hanul Kwan. You see the foot skills from her.
Absolutely.
She is dangerous. You have to know where Hanul Kwan is at all times on the pitch. Cannot lose her.
You know, these short passes from the goalie make me wonder if...
Yeah, that's not a good decision there for Canada. Kate Costello. Left foot cross. Could be a chance. On the far side of things inside the 18. Tried to leave it back, but then a turnover for South Korea. And then a push. Hook in the right arm. Tough foul, so a free kick for Canada. And a yellow card, I believe, was just issued. Looked like head referee there, and Jonathan Hennessy issued a yellow card. I believe the yellow card was given to Jin Young No, the right midfielder for South Korea. So you saw that replay, hook in the right arm. Red card, have to miss a game. FIFA rules, have to miss a game. He missed the remainder of that game. He missed the next one as well. Double yellow, same thing.
That's not what you want to see for the first game for South Korea.
No,
Yellow
not at
card
all.
here in the first
Good
half.
run. Could be a one-on-one here. Hanul Kwan, the captain, trying to slice and dice, trying to find a teammate in Da-Un Kwan. Good help side defense yet again from Claudia Rousseau. Boy, I thought, Shelby, I want you to talk about it. It looked like maybe Hanul Kwan should have taken a shot there, one-on-one with the keeper.
You took the words out of my mouth. I thought the same thing. I think maybe that was a little bit of a too
unselfish.
Too unselfish, I think.
Ina Park, just outside the 18 on the far flank. Good give and go. And then
I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now and I ain't never gonna back down. I gotta go for the gold. I need to switch up the mode. I'm gonna win on my own. I'm in a whole nother zone. I reached the pinnacle. I don't have time, this is critical. It's time to finish you. I don't care who I just did it to. I gotta go for the gold. I need to switch up the mode. I'm gonna win on my own. I'm in a whole nother zone. I reached the pinnacle. I don't have time, this is critical. It's time to finish you. I don't care who I just did it to. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and never gonna back down. Said I'm fired up. I'm sorry your time's up. I see the top and I climb up. Came from the ashes, I rise up. Rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up, I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up, I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up, I want it now, I gotta rise up.
Na 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 na, whoa, na 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 na. This my time to shine. Everybody gather round. I'm the new kid in this town. Let me lay it on the mic. This my time to shine. Na 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 na, whoa, na 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 na. This my time to shine. Let's kick back, enjoy the ride. My advice is don't think twice. Everyone around the world, look at me, I'm fine. This is the way it's gonna be. Just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be bright, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. May. Na 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 na, whoa, na 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 na. This my time to shine. I'm shining. People, you are with me now. I'm not here to play around. Let me show you what I am. This my time to shine. All together one more time. Ring my bell and let it chime. Everyone around the world, look at me. This is the way it's gonna be. Just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be bright, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. May. Na 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 na, whoa, na 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 na. This my time to shine. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya, this is about me. I am worth the wait. Be bright, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. May. Na, 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 na.
Back here in Spokane, Washington at Union Stadium. Apologize for the technical difficulties that we experienced. We missed 3 goals by South Korea. The first goal was by Yi-na Park in the 41st minute. The assist was by Chung-min Lee. And then in the 44th minute, Chung-min Lee assisted herself, unassisted. A goal in the 44th minute. And then an added time, a penalty kick goal for the captain of this South Korea military team, Han-nul Kwan, gives South Korea a 3-0 advantage as we get ready to start the second half. Again, Alex Gould, U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Shelby Pruitt-Johnson, and our crew. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties, but hopefully we're back on here in the second half. Shelby, those 3 goals, they were mounting the whole entire half, and then it took within the final 5+ minutes of the half. You got that goal from Park, and then you got 2 more.
Absolutely. It's almost like they were waiting for our feed to go down to give us all the surprises. I'm interested to see how Canada comes back from that after this half and see what they were talking about in the locker room and see how they can adjust to come back bigger and better for the next half and stifle South Korea for those next couple of goals.
Put you in the head coach's corner for a second, talking about the adjustments they're making. James Lundy, what do you think that Coach Lundy, the rest of the coaching staff, and the players are talking about for Team Canada at the half?
You know, it's hard to say. You really don't want to put words in their mouth, but I want to say that I think they're probably talking about strengthening their defense. I think that they're kind of leaving the wides a little bit more vulnerable, and that's South Korea's taking advantage of that every single time. It's through the wide to the middle in the center. So I really think that they're probably talking about strengthening up their wide defense and keeping things strong in their defense path.
And then for Mi Yun Yi and Sung Woo Cho to
Number 13, Caroline Doyle, and number 14, Meryl Musco. Corner kick, Korea.
Physio. Yeah, can we get physio on? Physio? Yeah, he's on the way. You just stay in the fifth line there, yeah? Okay, and game on now. Game up. Anytime.
Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Quite hot here in Spokane. Hoping that the rest of the match, we get you the live feed, but just go over it again one more time. 3 goals for South Korea. It's a 3-0 advantage for South Korea over Canada. That first goal was in the 41st minute by Yi-Na Park, assisted by Jung-Min Lee. And then Jung-Min Lee, the center forward for South Korea, scored in the 44th minute to make it 2-0. And then about 30 seconds later, Han-Nul Kwan connected on a penalty to give South Korea this 3-0 advantage. We just saw Han-Nul Kwan, the captain of this South Korean team, take a shot to the left shoulder, and so she had to come off the pitch, but she's sprinting over there on the sideline, so it looks like she's going to be okay to come back in. South Korea has not made any substitutions yet, so it's the same starting 11. Canada did make 3 substitutions at the half. Mir Moska comes in at the center forward position, which means Kaylee Carlisle. She did not come out. She stayed in, but they're dropping her back into a central midfielding position. Caroline Doyle came in as a right wing to take the place of Paige Campbell. And that substitution for Mir Moska was because Katie McCaskill got taken out at the left center back, dropped Carlisle back to the midfield, dropped Emma Perry to the defense, and then the final one, Kate Fung came off. Amanda Courtois Van Spite came in for Canada to take the left back role for the Canadians. So I think you're caught up. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. I hope that the rest of this half can stay on the stream. But Shelby, I mean, we just saw moments ago, too, a really good look for South Korea. They almost put their 4th into the back of the net. It was a dynamite pass from Do Young Ban to Han-Nul Kwan. Kwan couldn't connect because of a stellar save by Alex Haag, who's been working hard in front of goal.
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of chances and almost goals here within the last couple of minutes.
I think a lot of it, too, because of Carlisle's energy for Canada. We saw her in that center forward spot. Because of her energy, they said, listen, we're going to need you to take a center mid role and have you sprint up and down and help us on the defensive side of things. But also maybe get the ball at her feet so she can create on the attack.
I think so, too. I think that they're doing exactly what we thought about, strengthening that defense and putting her back there.
Good run here. Indecisive was Haag. Could be a goal for South Korea. Tackle in the box. Saw a penalty called earlier, but the flag stayed down. And so did the whistle. There was no call there. But how about that ball?
What a fight there in the goal box.
That was Yi-Na Park. Tried to find Chung-Min Lee, and then Haag was kind of in no man's land. We talk about that a lot for a keeper. You got to either go get it or drop back. So we saw 10-0 yesterday, United States over Belgium, as we've talked about. We saw a 3-0 victory for Germany over Ireland, and much of the same here on day number 2, the start of Group B. It has been lopsided. It's been South Korea controlling possession about 80% of the time.
This might be the 3rd shutout of the CISM tournament this year.
And that's why we talk about adjustments. It's hard to make adjustments when it's 80-20 in the possession, right? Because you can talk as much as you want in the locker room and talk about, hey, we're going to do this, this, and that, help side and help, whether it's on the left or the right, near side, far side, whatever it may be. But this South Korean team, I don't think they need to make too many adjustments themselves. They have done a mighty fine job as Hogg gets it inside the 18.
I mean, it's absolutely, you're right. I mean, you can talk about the adjustments you need to make, but unless you have the ball, how are we going to make those adjustments to be on the attacking side of the field?
Hanu Kwan offside there as the flag went up. Make it a substitution for South Korea, which would be their first. It looks like So Young is getting ready to check in for South Korea, which means likely coming out would be Da-Un Kwan. And yeah, so that's going to be the end of the day for Da-Un Kwan, but a pretty good one for Da-Un Kwan. So tactical, plays with a lot of pace. Ball was at her feet a lot, helping create for this South Korean team. But the first time we get to see So Young.
That makes me think that they're letting the other players on the South Korean team have a chance to be the matchmakers in this team today.
The way the substitutions work, we talk about it a lot this tournament. FIFA rules for the most part, it's 5 substitutions allowed, but you can only do them in 3 different waves. And what we mean by that is you cannot sub one on at a time, then another one, then another one, then another one. 5 separate times, can't do that. It has to be 3 occasions only where you can sub those 5 women onto the pitch. Once you have subbed already for a 3rd time, you can no longer sub, even if you haven't used your 4th and 5th substitutes. But if you sub at the half, that does not count in terms of the number of substitutions you can make. The times, I should say, that you can substitute. So you're only allowed 5 no matter what, 5 subs checking in, but you can only sub in 3 different waves on 3 occasions. Corner coming up here for South Korea.
Let's see if they can make a connection to get it in the back of the net.
Yo Shang Shim, the holding midfielder, and they play it short. And that's Arum Han. Arum Han gets it to her right foot, now switching sides of the pitch. Finds the feet of Yina Park. Scored the first, and that's a right foot try, but well wide of the mark.
So Alex, I'd like to hear your perspective on it a little bit, right? This is the Women's Military World Cup. Both these teams are representing their nation's military, and you don't have much experience with the military, so what's it like for someone, a civilian like you and like these other fans out here, to be watching this match?
I'll tell you what, it's been one of the coolest experiences. Never gotten the chance to stay on a base, right? Getting the chance to stay over at Fairchild on the Air Force Base, first and foremost, is one of the coolest experiences I've gotten. But at the same time, too, just taking a look out here on the pitch, I mean, seeing how these women who serve their country, like you said, which is already hard within itself, so much pride in these nations, and we'll stop for one moment. Handul Kwan scored the penalty. Left foot try. Did it get a piece of Hogg? Well, it's not going to matter because it stayed in, and it was played by Bailey Tupin. But just seeing these nations, and what I said yesterday, what was so cool was opening ceremonies. That was one of the most bone-chilling experiences I've gotten. I had goosebumps the whole time. Hearing all the national anthems played and watching every nation march in line with the flag was really special. And so these women work so hard to defend their countries, but also they've got some foot skills, Shelby. They can play. They're really good athletes as well. This is played out wide here to Do Young Ban, and there is another one for South Korea. The flag stayed down, and that is the second goal of the match for Han-Nul Kwan, the captain of this South Korean team.
What a nice kick to the corner right there. Just perfect touch on the ball.
So Han-Nul Kwan, just look at the foot skills. You see it played out wide here, and a perfect ball in, and then a one-time in the air. I mean, how about that ball from the right back? Do Young Ban, who gets credited for the assist. A perfect pass and a great run by Han-Nul Kwan to finish on a one-time. So now a 4-0 advantage for South Korea. Just been too much for Canada's back line to handle, and we could get another one. A perfect run here by Yi-Na Park. Yi-Na Park, there's no keeper, and it's going to be an easy one. About 45 seconds later, Yi-Na Park, who scored the first goal for South Korea, gets her second goal of the match and pushes that lead up to 5 for South Korea.
What an exciting 45 seconds. One right after another. South Korea scoring 2 goals.
And yet again, Shelby, indecisive was Alex Hogg, the keeper. And mind you, I know she's been tested more than she wants to be. She needs help from the back line, but a little bit slow to get to that ball. And Yi-Na Park, with blistering speed, is able to dribble it past her and have an open net.
That's just about all you can ask for right there is an open net.
So Yi-Na Park, she's been an athlete for 10 years. Serves in the South Korean Army. And boy, she's saying thank you to her teammates today. She has been set up perfectly a couple of different times. The first one was by Chong-Min Lee. I'm not sure they're going to credit Jin Young No with the assist on that ball in to Yi-Na Park. It was a good ball and a great run. But
exactly like what they're doing right now. They're really setting their forward team up, catch their breath, make those runs, pull the defense back so they can make those runs in between. And it's just the help from all the teammates that makes it happen.
And there is another one for South Korea. And it looks like that could be a hat trick. Yeah, that's a hat trick. Our second hat trick of the tournament. That's Han-Nul Kwan with her third. Controls it perfectly with the right foot there. You saw the replay. Controls it perfectly with the right foot. Turns around and boots it with the left. Han-Nul Kwan can finish with either side. Such good foot skills. And much like we saw Miss Robertson for the United States yesterday get a hat trick in the first half. First 41 minutes, she had 3 goals. Han-Nul Kwan adds 3 of her own in this match for South Korea. And actually, it looks like they're crediting not Han-Nul Kwan with the goal there. Looks like they are crediting number 17, who just checked in, So Young. So you got to hold the hat trick for now. You know that Han-Nul Kwan is looking for one anyway, but my apologies there. But So Young gets the goal for South Korea, and she just checked into the match about 10 minutes ago. So a good start for So Young. What's interesting about So Young, been playing soccer now for 12 years, but she's a licensed Class C referee. So she also does a lot of reffing work in South Korea. So you know that she sympathizes with the referees out on the pitch. Got a flurry of substitutes here for South Korea. Min-soo Kim is checking in for South Korea, as well as Jin So-moon. So those two are coming on the pitch. So you see 18 playing in that center forward position. And then coming off the field for South Korea is Hyo-sung Shim. The holding midfielder is checking out, as well as Chung-min Lee. So Jin So-moon will go into that holding midfielder position for Hyo-sung Shim. A lot of space on the far flank. This is Yina Park, left foot cross. Can Canada get it out of there? They do for now, but it's right back to Park. Trickles it back to Room Han.
And the decision there for her not to getting it right back and not to boot it right back into the center right. She took her time. She had that control and passed it back to her teammate for it to give the time for the other forwards to set up. That is real skill in the game of soccer.
So 67th minute, about to be the 68th minute. 6-0 South Korea over Canada. So about 22 to 23 minutes to go here in the second half. But it has been a match that has been dominated by South Korea. And we talked about one of the storylines coming in, Shelby. This team is so used to playing with one another. They play either in the same leagues or on this world military team for South Korea. And you could see it out on the pitch. They just don't play with a lot of nerves. So now reaching the 69th minute as a substitute's going to come on for Canada. And this also could be the water break here.
Substitution, Canada, coming off the field, number 12,
It's not going to be the water break. So Emily Cote coming in for Canada, and the player that is checking out of the match is Kate Costello.
And as you look on the field, the South Korean team's pointing, looking around, making sure each man on the Canadian team is covered. And that type of communication is what's going to win the game.
Well, a lot of coaches, too, have talked about, listen, again, they don't make any excuses. No one does. A lot of people have talked about and said we're going to give our best effort, soccer, football, whatever it is, going to play our own style, play our own formation, make adjustments when we have to. But it is more challenging when a team plays year-round and plays in the professional ranks like South Korea. Canada's team has not gotten the chance to practice very often. And so this is a newer group who's trying to learn one another and the style of play and learn their coaches and hear the voices that ring throughout the locker room and on the pitch. So this is the water break here. It's 6-0 South Korea. But again, as a reminder, 70th minute here, about 20-plus minutes to go, 20-plus the added time. Our nightcap at 7 p.m. local time. It'll be 4 a.m. start time in the Netherlands and France. So it's the Netherlands versus France, and that match will take place at 7 p.m. Pacific time here in Spokane. So we saw Germany and Ireland, two European nations, come into the States and come in to Washington to play each other yesterday. Well, we get the same thing tonight between those two. You know, those two are, it's not only a battle on the pitch, but it's a battle for Europe in a way, right? When
Absolutely.
You get 4 or 5 teams that trickle in.
Well, and you talk about not making excuses for these teams, but I mean, Belgium coming right off the plane yesterday and going right into a match, sleeping in the Denver airport and coming out to play this soccer game was phenomenal last night. Just seeing them actually be able to come play, and no excuses were made. Absolutely not.
I'll make sure, too, to get you guys better time updates. So after the water break, about a minute and a half break there. So it's a 72nd minute between South Korea and Canada. 6-0. We have seen 3 goals in the first half and 3 goals in the second half here.
Well, when you talk about it, too, with the way the U.S. was 10-0 yesterday, 6-0 here, goal differential is key in the championship for these teams. So getting as many goals as you can is really a goal for these ladies here on the field.
That's going to be a corner kick forced by South Korea. That was Min-Soo Kim, checked in not too long ago, forcing the corner. Do Young Ban will take it for South Korea. They want to add a 7th here, 73rd minute. Right foot. That was a header try, but that missed wide of the mark. Looked like it reached the head of So Young, who just scored about 5 or 6 minutes ago.
When you talk about ball possession, Alex, you've been talking about how South Korea has really dominated the feel and possession of the ball here today. Take a look at the scoreboard. 20 shots on goal by South Korea and 0 for Canada's team. That's a big difference.
Left-footed cross. South Korea looking for shot number 21. Yeah, Canada doesn't have a shot yet. They have had a hard time of just getting it into their attacking third in this match. Two people I want to shout out, though, on both sides of things. I want to shout out Melanie Arsenault, who is a former player, major, and a manager for Team Canada. She's a construction engineer officer. She did a lot of work to print out some good nuggets, some good notes, as well as give me the pronunciations and give us the pronunciations, because without people like her, we don't get the names correctly, right? We need someone to help us out, and she was very willing. Had a great conversation with her before the match, and she was talking about there's 3 managers for Team Canada, and they call themselves the Momagers. Lauren Flaherty, Shannon Brown, as well as Melanie Arseno. But they do a lot of the administration in the background. They prep for camps when they were in Kingston, Ontario in April. So those three have a big part of Team Canada, as that's going to be stopped by the keeper there, and Hogg. But also, too, we want to make sure we shout out the captain of Team Canada, an integral part of this military team, Emma Owen, who's deployed on operations. You know, she wishes she could be here, but she's serving her country proudly. So a big shout out to Emma Owen. But also for South Korea, Hyuk Young-min has done an amazing job of giving us the names for South Korea. Been so willing to share notes and stories and help us out. He's here as a translator for South Korea, over there on the bench. But a really fun guy, and we had a connection. I told him I'm from Los Angeles, and he said, really? He said, I grew up in Los Angeles, was there for 10 years before moving around the United States for a little bit, and then moved to South Korea. Speaking of South Korea, another chance. That left foot shot deflected. Another try, but it missed wide of the mark. But Hyuk Young-min, thank you, seriously, for all the pronunciations and all the notes. It's been really fun to talk to. But we got a lot of those stories. A lot of people helping out, making sure that the name on the back of the jersey, it's a big deal. It is. And to make sure that everyone watching, whether you're in South Korea, Canada, yesterday, Belgium, the United States, Germany, Ireland, Mali, Cameroon, France, and the Netherlands, we want to make sure that these names are correct, because everyone's prideful, right? It's that family name that means a lot to these women. That's going to be a corner. It was one number 11 off the other.
When you talk about prideful, it's true, right? They're ambassadors for their nation, they're ambassadors for their military branch, and they're ambassadors for their name, they're ambassadors for the teams they play on. And these women are dual-hatted, that is for sure.
Do Young Ban to take the corner kick here for South Korea in the 78th minute. Trying to add lucky number 7. And that is crunched off the crossbar. Then a right foot. But the flag went up. I believe offside was called. No goal. So they're waving off that goal there. It was announced a goal here, but the flag went up. That was the AR2, Megan Mullen, who waved the flag. So the goal was not allowed.
Let's look at that replay.
So it looked like, even if the first one would have went, Min Jin Kim was offside to begin with. And then after her own rebound, own ricochet off the crossbar, that goal was disallowed. So Chae Hyun-yoon is coming in and subbing in for South Korea, as well as Hyun-ah Park. So those two checking in for South Korea. And then for Team Canada, taking a look for Team Canada, coming on to the pitch is Avery Stover. Try and get you the names checking out for Team Canada. Checking out of the match is Claudia Rousseau. And then for South Korea, 20-7, Arum Han, who had a really brilliant match for South Korea, as well as the corner kick specialist in Do Young Ban. Should be up to date on the substitutions as we reach the 81st minute coming up here. Could be another opportunity. Inside the 18, just outside the 6, and South Korea forces another corner. That was Jin So-moon, who booted it off a Canadian defender there on the back line. So now that Do Young Ban has checked out, this is going to be Hyun-Ah Park to take the corner kick for South Korea on the far side. A good ball inside the 6. Now right around the 18. Gonna punch it back off the head, off the deflection. How about pinging off the post? But the flag went up offside on South Korea. So a couple of ricochets there, and it all didn't matter because the AR2 and Megan Mullen put the flag up.
The Canadian goalie Hogg is getting her work cut out for her for sure. She's a signals officer in the Canadian Army from Ottawa, Ontario.
Another opportunity, another header, and another try for South Korea. That was so young.
Looking through our information here about the South Korean team, the majority of the women here have licenses in either referee or coaching. That's pretty interesting to see that not only do these women play, but they coach and teach the other generations all of these skills that they have. Like we said before, look, it's calm, it's collected, it's slow. They're taking their time to make the right passes to the right people, and they're getting it up the field just the same.
Jin So-moon plays it to her right foot. She was trying to find Hyun-Ah Park. Good ball, but the flag goes up again. I'll tell you what, Megan Mullen, the AR2, has been pretty busy here in the last 8 to 10 minutes. Good give and go, right foot rocket, but wide of the mark. That time off the right foot of So Young Yang. So in the 86th minute, Canada trying to at least give themselves a push, maybe some momentum going into their next match. We take ahead and look at when these two nations will play again. Canada will play the Netherlands on July 14th, so that'll be on Thursday, and that'll also be a 3:30 p.m. local time start on Pacific time. This is a foot race right near the 18. Good defensive play that time for Canada. But South Korea takes it right back. Park played it to her right. That's the easiest one Hog's going to get all tournament long. But for South Korea, they'll also play on the 14th, but they'll get the night match to take on Mali, and that will be the first time we will see Mali, not just here in Spokane, but that's the first time we're going to see Mali ever in CISM women's football. So Mali going to showcase what they can do. So for South Korea, 16-hour time difference. That's going to be about 11 in the morning for South Korea. So maybe on Thursday in South Korea, you get a little break from work, maybe a lunch break. You can join us for, I know these women working really hard. They appreciate it.
And you talked about it. Even Ireland was new this year in the tournament, and Mali will be new. It's an exciting year for the CISM tournament after the pandemic, and coming back here at Spokane, Washington to watch these women play has been a very exciting couple of days just getting started for the tournament.
Yeah, 3 new teams, Belgium, Mali, as well as Ireland. We saw Belgium and Ireland yesterday. We'll see Mali on Thursday the 14th. And this tournament also marks this tied for the largest tournament in the Women's Military World Cup, tied with El Paso in 2018.
Man, we talk about heat here. I couldn't imagine El Paso 2018.
How far is El Paso from San Antonio?
It's about a good 8 hours.
8 hours, yes.
South.
So it's way down
Yes.
south. There's definitely some cooler places, and I mean cooler as in weather-wise cooler, and colder places in the U.S. right now that you could host a tournament at. But I'll tell you what, there's not many. So even though it's 93 degrees, there's a lot of places that are much hotter and much more humid. It's very much a dry heat in Washington State here in Spokane. You might have to have 3 water breaks and a half if we played in El Paso again.
Absolutely.
So 90th minute, final stages of this match. South Korea, of course, going to get the 3 points that they were looking for. You got to think that they're so tactical. They're still going to make adjustments going into their next match against Mali. But boy, they have been close to perfect here this afternoon, Shelby.
I like that you bring up Texas, Alex, because I want to give a shout out to our team here working through these technical difficulties and bringing this live stream here to everyone around the world to watch these women play. We have the 2nd Audiovisual Squadron out of Hill Air Force Base, Salt Lake City, Utah, and the 3rd Audiovisual Squadron out of Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, San Antonio, Texas. And that is it. There was no added time, really, here in the second half. So South Korea gets the 3 points, and it's a really nice start in Group B. They defeat Canada 6-0. South Korea had 3 in the first half, and then they matched it with 3 in the second half. And boy, it was interesting. For South Korea, they scored their first goal. It wasn't until the 41st minute. Took them a little bit to get going, as you see some highlights there on your screen. But taking a look at the goal scores, the first one was in that 41st minute, and that was by Yi Na Park. And then Chung Min Lee, who assisted that first goal by Yi Na Park, scored 3 minutes later in the 44th minute, and then a penalty kick goal for Ha-Nul Kwan in 45 plus of added time. So within about 5 minutes, South Korea took a 3-0 advantage, and they never looked back. Then you had another goal by Ha-Nul Kwan in the 59th minute for South Korea, and then 45 seconds later, Yi Na Park added her second goal of the match. And then finally, it was only 2 minutes later. So within 3 minutes, South Korea added 3 more goals. And it was by the substitute who had just checked onto the pitch about 5 minutes prior, So Young. So Shelby, we have seen 3 blowouts here in Spokane. We saw a 10-0 win for the United States over Belgium yesterday, a 3-0 victory for Germany over Ireland. That's been the closest affair we've seen. The Irish hung on as much as they could, but here it was dominated from the get-go, even though South Korea, it took them to the 41st minute to score. Absolutely. I think I spoke too soon when I was talking a little bit earlier about Canada being a pretty good match for South Korea. I think South Korea definitely dominated the match, and you saw it here with them taking the win here in our 3rd game for the Women's World Military Cup.
So South Korea coming over here to some of these South Korean fans that have either made the trip or they're stationed here in the United States. They have a pretty good crowd on tap for them, and these fans are fired up, very proud of these women on the pitch. All right, our next match is at 7 p.m. local time, 4 in the morning in Europe, between the Netherlands and France. We are going to step aside, and we'll see you in about 93 minutes here in Spokane. A big-time win for South Korea as they bow and wave to their fans.